Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, people? What's up with it? I know it's been a minute. My apologies. Been a little busy, but we got some stuff to talk about. So let's get into it, man. I'm gonna wait for a few of y'all to get up in here and then we'll start, man. But yeah, update on the NBA Finals. The Pacers are up one. What's up, Mr. Lovell? I see you, bro. Appreciate you. The Pacers are up 1-0. They stole game one. Haliburton's a dog. Uh, yeah, man. It's it's crazy, man. What's up, Timmy? GP2 fan for life. What's up, bro? Man, y'all must be notification gang, man. Y'all pulled up on me. You been to the gym, you been lifting. Yes, sir. 6 days a week, my boy. Yes, sir. What's going on, y'all? Dominic, what's up, brother? First time I'm seeing you in here, man. What's up? It's retire. I see you. Hallie is him. Yeah, he is, bro. Speaking of Haliburton, so I was having a conversation with this one sub in the comments. And look, y'all, I love the enthusiasm. I love the fandom. I know we can be biased towards our own guys or like our past guys, but basically, I was having a conversation with this one Warriors fan in the comments, and then he was talking about how the Warriors should have kept Jordan Poole, and I agree. They should have found a way to keep Jordan Poole, but they didn't. But he was going off and he was saying he was getting his stuff off, and then the conversation got to He was comparing Jordan Poole to Haliburton, essentially saying Jordan Poole is the same caliber of player as Tyrese Haliburton. And I was like, let me stop you right there, bro. Let me stop you right there. That like, I was with you with the Warriors should have kept Poole. I was there with you. I'm like, yeah. Go ahead, keep going. And then he was like, basically insinuating that Haliburton and Poole is the same player. I was like, bro, you're done. Let me stop you right there. Like, it's no way. Let me tell y'all something, man. Tyrese Haliburton is closer to Steve Nash than Jordan Poole is to Tyrese Haliburton. Like, Tyrese Haliburton is a guy. In terms of an offensive engine, in terms of scoring plus playmaking, an engine for your team offensively. He's multiple tiers better than Jordan Poole. Multiple tiers better. It's not even close. It's not even funny how far away they are. Haliburton is probably the best point guard in the East. He's probably all NBA caliber point guard. Jordan Poole is just a solid scorer in a league of scorers. It's no comparison. Jordan Poole is Jordan Clarkson, and Haliburton is looking at Steve Nash. Like, I'm not even saying to hype up Haliburton. I have no agenda. Haliburton plays for the Pacers. This is me as a non-biased opinion, just saying. Comparing Jordan Poole to Haliburton is insanity. It's asinine. It's crazy. It's buffoonery. It's ridiculous. Like, I forgot bro's name, and shout out to you for the passion, bro. I'm not trying to single you out. That's why I'm not saying your username, whatever. I'm not singling you out. But it was a conversation I thought was worthy of being mentioned in here. Warriors fans, man, I appreciate y'all enthusiasm, but let's not talk crazy. This man tried to argue me down that if you swap Poole and Haliburton, Jordan Poole, the Pacers will be doing the exact same thing they're doing right now with Jordan Poole. I was like, bro, okay. I was like, okay. That's crazy, man. It's insanity. It's a reason why when the Wizards traded for Jordan Poole, they continued to tank. And Jordan Poole being on a team, adding his talent didn't alter their trajectory in terms of their game plan. They were still tanking. They were ass without him. They were ass with him. They were still a tanking team. The moment the Pacers got Haliburton, they immediately looked to get championship pieces around him because they knew that they had a superstar talent, a franchise player that you can build around. Jordan Poole's a solid player, but he's not a player you're gonna build a franchise around. That's ridiculous. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan Poole is a solid six man on. If you take every championship contender, Jordan Poole is probably the sixth man on half, at least half. There's some contenders he will start on. The other half, he'll probably be a very good six man. There's not a team in the league Haliburton's coming off the bench for. Not one team. He's starting on every single team in the league. So I don't know, man. It's crazy, bro. Like the warped reality and like in the mind of a fan when it comes to like evaluating talent and like comparing talent is just night and day, bro. Like I know Jordan Poole and Haliburton kind of sort of look similar in their games. You know, they're both these 6'4" guards. You know, dribble, shoot, bro. It's Haliburton's multiple tiers better than Poole. It's not even funny. It's crazy. Haliburton is up 1-0 in the NBA Finals. Like that's not by coincidence. Like the guy tried to make the argument, oh, like the Pacers got lucky. They faced the injured Cavs, and then they faced the injured Bucks. They got lucky. They're here by accident. That's kind of disrespectful. Like yes, injuries plays a huge factor in every championship run every season. You know what I'm saying? But you can't help who you play against. You can't help who's in front of you when you play them. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you still have to give that team credit for getting the job done. The Warriors have played teams where the injury luck has been on their side. They've played teams where the injury luck was against them. We just seen that against the Timberwolves in this series, this playoff run. Steph gets injured game one, series is over. You're done. The Warriors played the Cavs. Kyrie got injured. Kevin Love got injured. Whatever, bro. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't help who's in front of you. You can't help you can't help who gets injured. But for him to say, "Oh, well Haliburton he's overrated. The Pacers got lucky." Bro, they're up 1-0 against OKC, a 68-win team. They just did on the road. You know what I'm saying? Like they dropped Giannis. They dropped off Giannis. They dropped off the Cavs. And like, yeah, okay, what's his name? Garland was injured most of that series. All right, they still got Donovan Mitchell, who's one of the best players in the league. They still got Evan Mobley, who's just won a DPOY, who's an all-star. They still got two all-stars. They got Jared Allen, who like their team was still really good, and they had home court. Like you can't take that away from them. So it's just like double standards. Like folk, like a Warriors fan is trying to use injuries to like downplay Haliburton, and yet the Warriors have benefited from injuries as well. So it's just like you can't pick and choose when to play that card. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this, man. Warriors fans, we all love our own players, but we also tend to overrate our own players as well. James Wiseman. I remember there was a lot of overrating of James Wiseman. I'm not the kind of guy that's like, yo, let's draft a big unless I see like evidence that this guy is generational. You know what I'm saying? Like, James Wiseman played 3 college games. Yes, he has the size. Yes, he has the frame. He has a theoretical skill set as an athletic big man that can shoot, spread the floor, dominant inside, strong. He had the skill set. I mean, he had the theoretical skill set. Excuse me. My bad. He had the theoretical skill set. But as we can see, when you try to project that into the NBA against grown men, and you don't have enough data to really like have like a long track record of how this guy performs and like actual metrics to track it, you're gonna get put in a situation where you're the Warriors and you're so thirsty for a big man that fits this theoretical skill set that you draft James Wiseman over LaMelo Ball, over Tyrese Haliburton. Because you just had to have this big man that has this theoretical skill set, and then all of a sudden, 4 years later, fast forward, this dude's out of the league, bro. He's out of the league. Y'all know James Wiseman is out of the league. He just had an Achilles injury. Before that Achilles injury, he was a third string center on the Pacers. Third string. Behind Miles Turner and Isaiah Jackson. He went from second overall pick to third string center in 4 years. That's what the Warriors wasted a second overall pick on. And I said that to say this. The Warriors are now in a situation right now where they're looking at this roster. They got all these old dudes. They got Steph, who's 37. They got Jimmy Butler, who's 35. They got Draymond Green, who's 35. And they're looking for one of these young dudes to show up. You see Pod struggled. You see Moody struggled. Kuminga, he played good in the TiVo series, but obviously he didn't earn enough trust to get consistent run throughout the entire playoff run. All these dudes, and you got gift wrapped a second overall pick, and you blew it. You blew it. You can blame who you want to blame. You can blame Joe Lacob for being thirsty. You could blame Bob Myers for not saying nah, bro, we need to go in a different direction in the draft. You could blame Steve Kerr for coming out and saying he doesn't want to draft LaMelo Ball because he doesn't want to deal with his dad. What's his pop's name again, man? It's escaping me right now. I don't know why I can't think of his pop's name right now. My bad. But so yeah, Steve Kerr didn't want to have to deal with LaMelo Ball's pops, so he didn't want to draft him. Forget the talent, forget the upside. He's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this dude's pops. It's a drama. It's extra drama, extracurricular. I ain't trying to deal with it. Have y'all heard anything? Oh, LeVar. Have y'all heard anything from LeVar? Essentially, the past 2-3 years. I haven't heard nothing. He's been out the limelight. He was talking. He was chirping the first rookie season of LaMelo, but he hasn't really been talking, bro. Who cares? You're gonna pass on the talent because you don't want to hear from the dad. What does that have to do with anything? That's just it's insane, bro. It's insane, man. It's crazy. You're seeing these young dudes. You're seeing Haliburton, who's literally a franchise player on a team that's in the NBA Finals right now. You see LaMelo Ball, who damn near averaged 30 points per game this season. And it's the Warriors got nothing out of that pick. Nothing. You got Kuminga, who's talented, who has talent, but you did pass on some other players. You did pass on Sengun, who looks like who was an all-star this season. You passed on Trey Murphy. You passed on Franz Wagner. You passed on Jalen Johnson. You passed on... Who else did you pass on? It was a few that draft. But the thing is just man, when you smoke these draft picks, bro, when you get these lottery picks and you're smoking picks, it's so hard to recover from that because now you're looking at the Warriors roster and you're like, man, they could really use a young dude that could help out these old geezers. Just step up and just give a helping hand, bro. When you smoke those picks, this is what happens. Now the Warriors have to decide if they have to trade Kuminga in order to get back a veteran that can help these players, that can help these older players. When if you would have drafted right with these lottery picks, you would have a young talent that's coming into year 5 that can help. That's coming into his own. That's probably an all-star by now. Look at Haliburton, all-star. LaMelo, all-star. Sengun, all-star. Bro, imagine if the Warriors had a young all-star caliber player in the pipeline coming into year 5 to help support, that could step into his own to take the load off of Steph, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond. Imagine. They could really use that right now. Anyways, my bad. That was a long tangent to kick it off. What's up, y'all? Who's in here, man? Santana, what's up, bro? King Corey, what's up, dude? Mr. Level, what's good, bro? Sir Talk Much, what's poppin', bro? Sandra, what's up? Timmy, what's up, man? But yeah, there's a lot. What's the point? Poole don't play for the Warriors. I was just speaking on a conversation I had, man. If you don't think it's interesting, that's cool. I haven't streamed in 10 days. I got some stuff to talk about, man. Yeah, I don't like it. You can, you're more than welcome to click off and do what you gotta do, brother. No one's making you stay here and listen to me rant. But some people do want to hear the rant, so for whomever it may concern. Let's put it like that. Anyways, uh, so yeah, man, the Warriors has been a little bit of chatter going on. Karn said, "Yo, is Wiggs coming back?" So everything comes down to what the Warriors are gonna do with Kuminga. So Kuminga is the domino that needs to fall for the whole rest of the offseason to play out the way, to play out a certain way. We need to address the Kuminga situation. So Anthony Slater, Tim Kawakami, and Marcus Thompson had a podcast, the Warriors Plus Minus podcast. That podcast is probably as close as you're gonna get to like real sources from the team. Those are probably the Warriors' three biggest media reporters, and they get together and they just kind of like just talk and chatter for us to listen in on. So they basically was saying they were kind of weighing like the different ways the Warriors can go with the offseason plans for Kuminga. They were saying there's a very real possibility the Warriors just keep him in terms of just to maintain the asset, and then you could trade him in 6 months. Because right now, if the Warriors were to trade Kuminga, in terms of matching salary, they can only get a player back that makes half of what he signed for. So, for example, if the Warriors sign and trade Kuminga to like a team, they're getting that $30 million salary. The Warriors, in return, can only get back 15, half of what Kuminga signed for, which is 30. So if Kuminga signs for $28 million a year, the Warriors would get back like $14 million in return. So they have to kind of make salaries match, and it would kind of be a player around the mid-level exception level, that 14, 15. We don't know how much Kuminga's going to get. The assumption is that he's going to get somewhere around 28 to 30, something like that. So the Warriors would have to find a player that they like that's making around $15 million, that they believe is worth basically trading Kuminga for. And here's the thing, man. There's not a $15 million per year player. What are the chances that player is better than Kuminga? It's not likely. You might find a player that's a better fit than Kuminga, but to find a player that's just like straight up better than Kuminga in a vacuum at $15 million, I don't see that being likely. So, I mean, if that's the move, it's kind of a lateral move. It's a lateral move in the now, and then you're losing in the future, in the long run. So, I don't really know who I would make that move for. If the Warriors were to attach Moses Moody, who's making $13 million, and let's say Kuminga, the matching salary at, like I said, would be like $15 million or whatever, you can attach Moody, and now you got $28 million going out, or whatever the case may be. So now you can kind of do something with that. So the question would be, would you trade? Let me ask y'all right now. I want everybody that's in here to vote. Would y'all trade Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody for Andrew Wiggins? Would y'all sign and trade Kuminga to the Heat? You got to throw in Moody to make the salaries match in return for Andrew Wiggins. Everybody in the chat, let me know right now. Let's get it. Let me see some votes, man. Let's get to it. Come on. Let's see some votes. I'm seeing some no's. I'm seeing some yeses. Everybody vote, man. Let's go. Come on. It's looking like it's 60-40 no so far. Let me see a few more votes and then I'll react. Jim D said, I'm a JK fan, so yes, get the hell away from Kerr. Marcel, stop with the Melo ball take. Melo did not fit the team. They missed on Wiseman. JK didn't accept the role Kerr had for him, and they should have taken Murphy instead of Moody. Hindsight is wonderful. Stop with the mellow. Okay, here's the thing: when you say stop with the mellow ball take, he didn't fit the team. Let's say they drafted LaMelo and he didn't fit the team. That's cool. They still have that asset. They could still flip him to another team. With Wiseman, he had no trade value, zero. So they got nothing for him. You still draft the talent. They could have drafted LaMelo, and then if it turns out he doesn't fit the team, they could have traded him and got back multiple first round picks, and then used those multiple first round picks to trade for an established veteran to help the team. So I'm not gonna stop with no takes, bro. I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about on my stream, brother. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I'm gonna talk about my own stuff. Yeah, I'm speaking in hindsight. It is what it is, bro. The Warriors offseason right now, the reason why they're dealing with these problems is because of decisions they made in the draft 4 years ago. Everything's related, man. So I'm not gonna just like avoid conversations just because it feels better not to talk about it, man. It is what it is. But anyways, I'd wait until the trade deadline and trade JK for Wiggs straight up. That's a possibility. Gary Payton is better than Wiseman. Yeah, Gary Payton's a better player than Wiseman. It's pretty sad, to be honest with you. But yeah, he is. Gary Payton's capable of getting minutes in a playoff series. Wiseman couldn't. He was unplayable. So yeah, Gary Payton is a better player than Wiseman. Wiseman is out of the league right now. Melo would have never got his max deal if he came to the Warriors. No young player could come to the Warriors if Steph is still the face of the franchise. People, Jordan Poole was a six man and got $30 million a year. Jordan Poole was coming off the bench and got $30 million a year. You can say, "Oh, LaMelo never got in the max." He would have got some money, bro. He would have got paid. And if he didn't, and if the Warriors did the numbers and they couldn't pay him, they would have just traded him to a team that would have paid him, and they would have got a haul of picks back. A haul of picks, bro. The Warriors drafted James Wiseman and got nothing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to justify not drafting LaMelo because it's hindsight, bro. They drafted a player they got absolutely nothing from that was unplayable. That's out of the league. I'd rather draft LaMelo and him not be a fit, and you still have the asset to trade than just draft a bust. Like, Wiseman is a bust, bro. Like, LaMelo is not. That's just as simple as that. I'm not gonna lie, I wish we could have got Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith ain't available, brother. Let's see, man. I'm gonna move on from that topic. So there's a name that came up. I saw a rumor. I don't even know who started. I don't even know who started the rumor because I think it was literally just like a Warriors account that just like aggregates information and kind of just like runs with stuff. But it blew up enough for it to go viral. It's like a topic of conversation. So basically, the trade would be Jonathan Kuminga to the Kings for Keegan Murray and Jonas Valanciunas. My first reaction to that is it's zero chance the Kings are making that trade. The Kings ain't trading Keegan Murray for Kuminga. They're not. Like, I know they're stupid. The franchise is like not that bright. Let me just reword that. I know that franchise isn't too smart. The front office isn't too smart, but they're not. You're not about to just get over on teams like that, bro. And I'm not even saying that Keegan Murray is like a better player than Kuminga, because I actually think like in a vacuum, I mean Keegan Murray is more useful because of his 3-point shooting and he's more of a 3-and-D archetype. But talent wise, I'm not really sure Keegan Murray is that much better than Kuminga, and he's a little older as well. So, but the Kings fans would never. But the Kings would never do that because they drafted Keegan Murray. They're not gonna. They don't want to get duped. They know they're a joke franchise. They don't want to get duped by the big brothers. They're not making that trade just because it's the Warriors. If there's a chance that the Warriors get over on them, and it's just like, ha ha ha, you just got finessed by big bro. Like, you know, they don't want to take no chances, bro. They're not doing that. But yeah, in terms of talent, I would say I would probably say Kuminga's a little better than Keegan in terms of talent because you also got to keep in mind Keegan Murray's a few years older. He was an older rookie, so I think Keegan Murray's like 23, and then Kuminga's like 21, and yeah, I would say Kuminga's more talented. So on the surface, it looks like that's a fair trade, but the Kings would never do it for the reasons I just explained, and I don't even think the Warriors. I don't know if the Warriors would do that either. Keegan is a lockdown defender, though. Yeah, I get it. He is. He's a better defender than Kuminga. He's a better shooter. So those things just automatically make him a better fit around. Keegan Murray would definitely be a better fit around Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond for sure. Like Keegan Murray could slide in next to Draymond easily. You could do you could do you could do you could do Draymond at the four, Keegan at the three, Jimmy at the two, Steph at the one, and then those spots are just solved. You know what I'm saying? Like those spots are just solved, and then you just got to find a center. With Kuminga, you still can't really fit him next to Draymond and Jimmy. It's still kind of a clunky fit. JK is 22. All right, my bad. I said he was 21. He's 22. He's probably just turned 22, right? Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, Keegan Murray would probably be a better fit, but the Kings ain't making that trade. It's not happening. There's another name that's in the rotation, that's in like the rumor mill was Trey Murphy. So the Warriors, I mean not the Warriors, but Marcus Thompson and Tim Kawakami and Slater actually brought up Trey Murphy. Now I don't know if that's because they've heard something about him might possibly being available, and they're throwing that out there because they've heard that, or if they just picked a random name and just said, yo, he would be great for the Warriors, they should trade for him. But usually when these reporter types that are connected, when they bring up names, it's usually because they hear some stuff. So in my mind, I was thinking Trey Murphy's ain't available. Why would the Pelicans trade Trey Murphy? He's not available. He's the archetype of player that every team needs. He's a 6'9", 3-and-D wing who's a sniper. Absolute sniper. He's a marksman. He's only, 20, how old is he? 23, 24, whatever. Like, he's just a prototypical 3-and-D wing with great length and size. You could play him at the 2, 3, or 4. He could play multiple positions. He would make teams pay for the crap defenses that they guard the Warriors with, these janky defenses. You got Trey Murphy out there. He's going to be shooting teams' faces off. Can't leave him. He got range, too. Multiple steps behind the three-point line. He would be a great addition. So Marcus Thompson brought him up. I honestly don't know if that means he's available or not. And if he was available, it would cost the Warriors Kuminga. It would probably cost the Warriors Kuminga, Paz, and Moody. I'm not even kidding with you. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, if Trey Murphy was available, it'd be multiple other teams trying to trade for him. So the Warriors would have to outbid other teams. And if that's the case, you're not getting Trey Murphy on a discount. You're not about to just finesse the Pelicans just because it's the Pelicans. Like, they're gonna want a haul back. They drafted Trey Murphy. He's turned into a really good player. He's a perfect archetype that every team needs. Every team that's trying to build a great team, you need a player like Trey Murphy with that archetype. So they're not gonna just trade him away just to trade him away and make a trade. You're gonna have to blow him away with an offer, or they're just gonna keep him. There's no downside to just keeping him. So if the Warriors really, if Trey Murphy's available, and that's a big if, I don't even think he's available. But the only reason I'm entertaining is because Marcus Thompson brought it up. But if Trey Murphy was available, it would take Kuminga and Pods and Moody. Like the Pelicans would want everything. They would run the Warriors' pockets. So at that point, is Trey Murphy even worth it? Would y'all trade Kuminga and Pods? Let's say it's Kuminga Pods plus a first for Trey Murphy. Would y'all do that? It sounds ridiculous it sounds ridiculous from our perspective. But that's what the Pelicans are going to ask for. And if the Warriors say not doing it, the Pelicans just be like, all right, bet, we'll just keep them. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, teams aren't lining up to trade for the Warriors players, bro. So, yeah, I don't know about giving up all that for Trey Murphy, man. Keegan can't carry the Warriors for the regular season when old players like Steph and Jimmy need rest. JK can hold down the fort. Yeah, Keegan and JK has different strengths and weaknesses. Keegan's a better fit with the Warriors star players. Kuminga's a better fit to carry the offense when they're not on the court. So you got to kind of weigh which one is more valuable. Do you want the guy that could fit next to those guys and you can close games with him out there next to him? Because you got Steph and Jimmy, when it matters most, they're theoretically the ones with the ball in their hands. You want a guy that can complement them in that fifth spot or that fourth spot. Whereas with Kuminga, it's all right. He's better at carrying a team when those guys are getting a rest or they're missing games. But what about during money time, during closing time? He's not as good of a fit. It's going to be games where he's not even on the court to close games because he can't fit. So you got to kind of weigh pros and cons there. No way. JK and a pick is as high as I would go. If that's as high as you would go, the trade never happens. That's the thing. There's going to be a huge disconnect between trade value for the Pelicans and Warriors in that trade. That's why those type of trades for like a young player, you almost never really see them get done because they really have no incentive to trade Trey Murphy. They just signed him to a contract, like I think like a season ago. He's locked up long term. They're a young team that's like void of talent. Like they need talent. He's a talent. They drafted him. They have no incentive to trade him. Literally no incentive. So, and plus, I mean, they're still. It seems like they're still trying to build around Zion. Trey Murphy's like a prototypical player that you would want to put around Zion. A 6'9", 3-and-D wing. That's a sniper. That's the type of player you need to put around Zion. So, you trade him for Kuminga. Kuminga is basically a worse version of Zion. So you're putting a worse version of Zion next to Zion to complement him. It doesn't really work. So, I don't really see that happening. Another name that I saw being thrown around is Mark Williams, the center for the Hornets. Mark Williams is an interesting name. Big body. What is he, 7'1", 7'2"? He's a big dude. He's getting paid $6.2 million this season, and then in the 2026-2027 season, he's a restricted free agent, so they will have to pay him after this season. So the question would be, would the Warriors trade? Would I, if I was the Warriors, trade for Mark Williams? I would have to pass on that. I say that for this reason. The Hornets tried to get off of. They try to pull a fast one. They know something that the rest of the league doesn't know. They see Mark Williams up and close every single day in practice. They see his medicals. They know something. And the fact that they were willing to trade him for Dalton Connect, who's like, okay, he's a solid rookie, whatever. But the fact that they're willing to trade their 7'1" center that was putting up double doubles and like putting up these numbers, all these box sheet numbers, that's a little fishy to me. That's a little fishy. And then when the Lakers vetoed the trade, the Hornets tried to get the league to do like a open case on the veto, and basically tried to force them to rescind the veto to make the trade go through. So they was trying to get off Mark Williams in a worse way, bro. And there's no way you can convince me that they wanted Dalton Connect that bad. It's just no way you can convince me that they really had to have Dalton Connect that bad, that way they were that desperate to get off of Mark Williams. I think Mark Williams' body's a ticking time bomb. I think with players his size, 7'1", what is he, like 275, 280? He's a big-ass dude. I think with dudes like that, all that weight, all that torque on those knees, the lower body, the lower extremities, bro, it's always a crapshoot, man. Mark Williams gives me Andrew Bynum vibes. Talented big man with size, but body's probably breaking down way faster than a player his age it should. But due to his size, it is what it is, man. Andrew Bynum was very talented. He used to play for the Lakers. For those of y'all who's old enough to remember, Andrew Bynum for the Lakers. Talented dude, but his body betrayed him pretty early. And, that's how it goes. So it will be extremely risky for the Warriors to trade assets away for Mark Williams, and then this dude's body just gives out. So I think that's a little too risky, man. I think that's a little too risky. And the Hornets trying to get off of him. Like they were thirsty to get off of him. That to me is like a clear indicator that they know something we don't know, and they was trying to get him off their hands before the rest of the league saw it. So I'm cool off Mark Williams. I want no parts of that because the Warriors trade assets for him. They don't have any more assets for like another move. That's basically their last move they're making. They trade for Mark Williams, and if this dude is like injured or he gets injured or whatever the case may be, you're cooked. You're done. You traded all these assets for a young player that you would hope will be available to help these older dudes. And this dude's gonna miss probably more time than the older dudes. You can't risk that, man. So what about trading for Valanciunas? You botched his name spelling, by the way, bro. That's hella funny. What about trading for Valanciunas from the Wizards? Is he still on the Wizards? No, he got traded to the Kings. Valanciunas is on the Kings now. Valanciunas will be okay to get through the regular season, but he's not gonna solve any problems in the playoffs. Steve Kerr wouldn't even play him in the playoffs. He would be getting DMPs. I look at Valanciunas. He's like a Kevon Looney level player. He's solid in certain matchups, and other matchups he's unplayable. He's not a good defender. Yeah, he gets rebounds. Yeah, he can make a little post hook, or whatever the case may be. But he's not a good defender. He's barbecue chicken. He's a strictly drop big. He will get fried against most offensive oriented point guards. He get fried. They would shoot his face off. He won't even he doesn't even come up on screens. Like his team will be getting cooked in a pick and roll, and he still won't come up. He's just lazy, man. He just wants to stay in the paint and just I don't know. I don't like big men like that no matter how the game is going, they refuse to adjust and try to come up and help. No, thank you. Walker Kessler is not available. Walker Kessler is not available, y'all. What about Vucevic? Nikola Vucevic. Depends on the price, man. I know the Bulls try to pull a fast one. They try to demand a first round pick for him at the trade deadline. No team was biting. It was like, bro, you're tripping. You smoking that good stuff if you think we about to trade a first round pick for 35-year-old Nikola Vucevic. If the price is right and they drop his price, maybe a few second round picks, I'll do it. A few second round picks for Vucevic, I will make that trade, but I'm not trading no first round pick for Vucevic, bro. Jaren Jackson Jr. The Warriors, the Grizzlies are about to pay him a supermax, so yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, Kobe White would be probably one of the best outcomes the Warriors can do. If they could somehow turn either Moody or Kuminga into Kobe White, I think that would be a win-win. Now, obviously, trading a wing for another guard, you're trading size for another guy that's smaller. I get it, yada yada yada, but Kobe White actually fits something the Warriors desperately need. He's a shot creator, scorer, shooter, playmaker. They need another one of those guys. Kobe White is essentially Jordan Poole. He's essentially Jordan Poole, slightly more efficient and a little more of a post defensively. And he's making $13 million compared to Jordan Poole who's making $30 million. So, I mean, I'd make that trade for Kobe White, to be honest with you. But it's going to be pricey, man. The Warriors, they're not going to be able to just finesse these teams, bro. Kobe White's going to be expensive. The Bulls don't really like making trades. Kobe White playing off of Steph and Jimmy Butler's advantages as a third option, that'd be pretty nasty. That would be pretty nasty. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Kobe White's a really good player. He's a really good shot creator. He's 6'5", So he has a little size. It's not like he's like a 6'2" guard that you're putting next to Steph. He's 6'5". So you can play him next to Steph. You can play him next to Pods. You can play him next to Jimmy. You can play a bunch of different backcourt combinations with Kobe White because he has the size to play either backcourt position. He's very solid, man. He can dribble, pass, shoot, which the Warriors need as many of those guys as they can get. You gotta respect him. Like if you try to put like a bad defender on him to try to like allocate those defensive resources to like Steph and Jimmy, Kobe White's gonna cook your third best defender. He's gonna cook him, bro. So if the Warriors' third best option is Kobe White, and he's playing off of Steph and Jimmy's advantages, Steph's getting triple teamed, Jimmy Butler's getting double teamed in a post, and Kobe White has those advantages to attack, bro, he's gonna be cooking, man. That would be nasty. That's probably one of the better case scenarios would be Kobe White, but I don't think that happens just because the Bulls don't like making trades. They overvalue their own players. So, but yeah. Is there any other names y'all wanted to bring up in here? Luke Cornett, Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. would be solid. A solid piece. He's not going to be... Neither one of those players, Luke Cornett or Larry Nance Jr., neither one of those guys are going to solve your problems. But they're solid additions to help stabilize the rotation more so on the back end. Luke Cornett is by no means some amazing starting caliber center, but he kind of reminds me of like a Zaza Pachulia type cog. He's a guy that can come in and play a role. Some nights he might get 15 minutes. Some nights he might get 25. Some nights he might get 5. But he's 7'2". He has length. He's a vet. Was he 27? He doesn't necessarily do anything particularly well, but he does a lot of things solid enough to where he's just a solid big. You can have him a part of your rotation. He's an upgrade over TJD for sure. I would take Luke Cornett over TJD without a doubt. Larry Nance Jr. is good. I think he's an upgrade over TJD and Looney. He's a speed 5. He's really a power forward. He's 6'7", but he could play small ball 5. He has defensive chops. He's more of a his form of rim protection is more so like steals, like getting strip steals, kind of like in the passing lanes in the paint, getting steals like that, versus just straight up getting block shots. He does get a block every now and then, but he's more of a unique big to where he's more so quick hands type rim deterrence, quick hands and just kind of being a playmaker. Larry Nance will be solid. He's not quite the athlete he used to be like 5 years ago when he was like in dunk contest, or was he in dunk contest, or was that just his pops? I know his pops was Larry Nance Sr. I think Junior was in a dunk contest too a while ago. But yeah, Larry Nance will be solid. Again, he's not some savior. You're not going to sign Larry Nance and all of a sudden the Warriors' problems are solved. But he can play next to Draymond. He can stick an open shot. I think he's been shooting like 36% from 3 the past few seasons. So he's a respectable 3-point shooter. You can put him out there next to Draymond. He can hit a shot. He can make some plays defensively. If you have him out there defensively next to Draymond and Jimmy, you're going to have like a lot of steals, a lot of disruption, a lot of playmaking defensively. He's going to get out and feel the fast break. Norman Powell. Zero chance the Clippers trade Norman Powell to the Warriors. Yeah, I got to understand, man. With some of these teams that are like the Warriors' rivals, or like, forget about it. The Clippers aren't trading Norman Powell to the Warriors. The Kings aren't trading Keegan Murray to the Warriors. All these teams that hate the Warriors, that look up to the Warriors, who the Warriors have been sunning for years, not happening. The Clippers, Norman Powell is like their success story. They traded for Norman Powell. He's developed with their team. They let Paul George walk, and they've essentially promoted Norman Powell in their pecking order, and he's thrived. He was a fringe all-star. He almost made I don't know if almost was like the right word for the all-star team, but I remember he was in a conversation for an all-star appearance. Like he could have. There's a scenario where he makes the all-star team this season under the Clippers. They were campaigning for him to make the all-star team. They really want him to have that So they're backing their guy. They're not gonna trade. They're not gonna then turn around and trade that dude to the Warriors. It's not happening. Is Wiggs coming back? It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I just think it comes down to if the Warriors want to make that trade. I mean, I think if they wait until 6 months from now, and let's say Kuminga signs for $28 million, that money will basically match Wiggins. I think Wiggins is making around 27 or 26. They could trade Kuminga for Wiggins straight up. I don't know if the Heat would be willing to play ball there. I know for a fact Heat fans already hate Wiggins. I was kind of tapped into some like the Heat fans just to see how they felt about Wiggins after the trade, and they're done. They want Wiggins gone, bro. They want him out of there. They don't think he's worth his contract. They don't want no parts of Wiggins. So I know if you ask Heat fans, they would be like, yo, we'll make that trade, but I don't know if the Miami Heat's front office wants to do that. If they want to do business with the Warriors again, who knows? But if you're asking me would I trade Kuminga for Wiggins, probably, just because your objective is to maximize these next 2 years, and it's probably safe to say that Wiggins over these next 2 years is more of a stabilizing presence, more of a contributor to the Warriors' mission of supporting Steph and Jimmy than Kuminga is. For the simple fact that Kuminga is trying to, he's playing with an agenda. So he's going to get his money this season. Hopefully, let's say in a scenario where the Warriors just keep Kuminga, he got his money. Once he gets his generational money, once his fam's taken care of, once his bank account's taken care of, is he willing to more acquiesce to the Warriors' play style? Is he more willing to kind of play the role the Warriors expect of him now that he has his money and he has that burden off his shoulders to ball out for a bag? Who knows? So what I do know is Wiggins is 31 years old. He has nothing to prove to nobody. He knows his role with this team. He's gonna do whatever is asked of him. He's not gonna complain about touches. He's gonna do all the dirty work stuff. You're probably gonna get more of you're basically trading the upside of Kuminga exploding in these next 2 years for the stability of Wiggins, because you know what you have with him. He was on the team for 6 years before they had to trade him. You know what you're getting from Wiggins. You know, he's not necessarily playing great on the Heat, but you can also just chalk that up to just him just not being happy with the situation over there, him not feeling as motivated, whatever the case may be, man. But yeah, man, 6 months from now, if the Kuminga fiasco is still a thing and like Kerr is still playing around with his minutes and it's still like this weird situation going on, then yeah, I would make that trade for Andrew Wiggins. Is John Collins available? He's available, but I wouldn't trade for John Collins because he's making $25 million, bro. You gotta match that salary. What are you trading to match $25 million in salary for John Collins? You trading Kuminga and Moody for John Collins? I'm not doing that. No chance. Chris Boucher is buns, Kern. Sorry, brother. That dude is buns. He'd be riding a bench the entire season. Wendell Carter Jr. will be solid, but I don't think the Magic are going to trade him. They're a team that's devoid of floor spacing. They have very few three-point shooters. I think they were the worst three-point shooting team this season. And they got these two stars that you need to have spacing around them. Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, you got to have shooters. So Wendell Carter Jr. is a rare archetype. He's a center that can shoot, and he's a two-way center, actually. He's a two-way center that can shoot. It's extremely rare, and they have to have that archetype next to Paolo at the 4 and Franz Wagner at the small forward. They have to have that. So if they're trading Wendell Carter Jr., they better damn sure get a shooter back, because or else they're just making their team they're just making a weakness of their team even worse. They're not trading Wendell Carter Jr. for Moody. It's not happening. They're not trading Wendell Carter Jr. for Kuminga. It's not happening. I just don't see that being likely. Kristaps Porzingis is extremely risky, man. He's always injured, as we know. I just don't know if that's very risky, man. Like if it works out, if you trade for Porzingis, you catch him while his value is a little low because he's always injured. And the Celtics got to make a move. They got to trade some salary away. So you can catch him while his salary's low. He's more gettable. It might work out. He might stay healthy. And if he's healthy, the Warriors might just be unstoppable. If they trade for it, if they get Porzingis and he's healthy, he's available, and they make this run, you got 7-3 Porzingis spacing the floor for Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. You got Porzingis playing next to Draymond Green in the front court. Then you still got Quentin Post off the bench as another floor spacing center. That'd be pretty nasty. Porzingis will slot in as your third option offensively. You got Steph, Jimmy, and then Porzingis your third option. That looks pretty good. At that point, can you keep? I guess you would have to trade Kuminga to get Porzingis, but I would like to play Kuminga next to Porzingis. That Porzingis would be the ideal center that you would play next to Kuminga. You could play lineups with Kuminga at the 4, Porzingis at the 5. Porzingis as a rim protector to an extent. He's not as good of a rim protector as he used to be when he was younger, but he's still a big dude in the paint. He's still 7'3", still has length. He can space the floor for Kuminga offensively, and then defensively he can cover for him at the rim. So that would be ideal. It's just super risky, man. Like if you make that trade for Porzingis and he gets hurt, you're done. You're done. So I think it just depends on if the Warriors are willing to take that gamble. Let's see. So if you kept JK, what would be the trade for him? If you keep JK, somebody look up how much Porzingis is making for me real quick. Somebody real quick, just look up Porzingis' numbers while I kind of talk about that a little bit. I think Porzingis is making like $30 million, but I could be wrong. Basically, the Warriors can't really match that without including Kuminga or Draymond or Jimmy Butler. If you're saying they're trying to trade for Porzingis, but they're not trying to give up Kuminga or Draymond, I don't even think they can make. They can't even trade enough salary to match Porzingis, who I believe is making like $30 million. But I know somebody's about to come and give me the exact numbers in a little bit. But yeah, in order for them to trade Porzingis, in order for them to match salary to get Porzingis, GB2 fan for life. Shout out to you, bro. He's making $29.2 million. Yeah, so yeah, the Warriors, in order for them to hit that number, they would have to sign and trade Kuminga. First, here's the thing. The Celtics are trying to get off money. The only reason they're trading Porzingis is because they want to shed salary, because their payroll is like asinine. Their payroll is like the highest in NBA history. They need to shed salary. So they're gonna trade Porzingis to the Warriors and then take on Kuminga as a sign and trade and give him $30 million. Doesn't make any sense. And then they have to, and then the matching salary included as well. So they're actually taking on more money by trading Porzingis to the Warriors in a sign and trade for Kuminga. Like I said, the Warriors, whatever the Warriors sign and trade Kuminga for, he counts as half as much for the outgoing salary. So let's say the Warriors sign and trade Kuminga to the Celtics for $30 million a year. That's $30 million incoming to the Celtics, but for the Warriors, it's only $15 million as matching salary. So the Warriors then have to add another $15 million or $14 million on top of Kuminga just to match the salary for Porzingis. So they would have to include Moody as well. So that means the Celtics would be taking on Kuminga's $30 million and Moody's $13 million. So they would go from paying Porzingis $29 million to then paying Kuminga and Moody $43 million. It makes no sense. They would never make that trade. Let's see. Trade Moody and Buddy for Clint Capella. Isn't Clint Capella a free agent? Could have sworn he's a free agent. Yeah, I mean, Porzingis would be a theoretical great fit, but I just don't think the money would work for the Warriors. It's tough, man. You got to understand the Warriors are paying Steph 60. They're paying Jimmy 60. They're paying Draymond 25. it's kind of hard to scrape together another $30 million if you're not going to include those three players. It's tough, man. Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez would be probably one of the more ideal candidates for the Warriors. He would be a more affordable version of Porzingis. Obviously, Brook Lopez is old. He's 38 years old. A lot of Warriors fans are like, no thanks. Don't want him. I've said this before, man. I said this before. Warriors fans, you can't be too picky, bro. The Warriors don't have many resources financially. You can't stick your nose up to solid options and just be picky as if the Warriors have the pick of the litter in terms of free agency. They don't. They got to pray some of these dudes want to come play for the Warriors for a discount. You can say Brook Lopez is old and say no thank you, all this, yada, yada, yada. The Warriors might not even be able to afford him, bro. They might not even be able to get him. Because at the end of the day, yeah, he's 38 years old, but he's a 7'1" center. He can still shoot. Was he like 37% three-point shooter, 38% three-point shooter? He's a vet. He has championship experience. His defense has fallen off a little bit, but he's still, if you put him in the right defensive system, in the right ecosystem, for example, next to Draymond and Jimmy, who can cover for him defensively in terms of like flying around on the perimeter, covering his back line while he's kind of protecting the rim, he can still look pretty good defensively. Bro, Brook Lopez would be amazing on the Warriors. Anybody who's like, no thanks, I don't want Brook Lopez, like, come on. The Warriors, we're in no position to stick our nose up to solid options, man. Let's see. Jaylen Brown. JK for Jaylen Brown. Bro. Oh, man. I appreciate the enthusiasm, y'all. Jaylen Brown's won Finals MVP, bro. You're not getting Jaylen Brown for JK. It's not happening. Plus, Jaylen Brown's on a supermax contract. It would have to be Jimmy Butler for Jaylen Brown. And at that point, why would the Celtics do that? Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. Bruce Brown, unrestricted free agent. Bruce Brown is a solid name. He's a solid 6'4" perimeter defender. He would fit in the Warriors system. The only thing with him is he can't really shoot. It's just another guy that doesn't want to shoot or hesitant shooter. Another dude that's going to be doing hot potato on the perimeter with the ball. He would be solid, though. He'll be solid. He can kind of sort of play. He could run some backup point guard a little bit. Surprisingly, he can walk the ball up and get you into your offense. I prefer DeAnthony Melton over Bruce Brown. I think they're both similar caliber players, but I think I would rather have Melton because Melton can hit a three-point shot. Melton not only can he hit a three-point shot, he's a pretty good shooter. So if you're asking me, would I rather have Bruce Brown or Melton, I would rather have Melton, even though he's coming off an ACL injury. Jabari Smith is not available, and the Rockets will never make a trade with the Warriors. Yeah, I gotta understand dynamics of teams, man. The Rockets will never make a trade with the Warriors. They're not trading with their young players. Would they draft Jabari Smith, second overall? Third overall? You think they're gonna trade their top pick to the Warriors after we just sent them home in 7 games? After we've been smacking them for years? It's not happening. It's not happening. Melton is more injury prone, and that's exactly why the Warriors might be able to afford him. Don't think they can afford Bruce Brown. The only way for the Warriors to possibly afford some of these guys is the fact that they are a little injury prone. You gotta understand that. The Warriors don't have the financial resources to be top bidders on any of these dudes. So a few circumstances has to play in their favor. The guy either has to be a little older, like Brook Lopez or Al Horford, to lower their value enough for the Warriors to have a chance, or they gotta be a little injury prone, like DeAnthony Melton was last season when the Warriors signed him. The only reason the Warriors was able to sign DeAnthony Melton last season for $12 million was because he was injury prone. He came off a back injury, so that lowered his value. If it wasn't for that back injury, Melton would have commanded probably at least like 15 or 16 mil a year. But since his value dropped because he was injury prone, it dropped just enough for the Warriors to sign him last season. Y'all gotta let Miles Turner go, bro. It's never happening. Picture it like this, man. Let's say Miles Turner was on the Warriors, and the Warriors are in the finals right now. They got these young. Let's go hypothetical. I'm just trying to paint you a picture for y'all, just so y'all understand what I'm talking about. Let's say Steph Curry is the age Haliburton is right now. They got this young up and coming team led by Steph Curry. First time in the finals. And they haven't won championships yet. This is like the first Warriors team that's the first Warriors team, like 2015 Warriors. They got young Steph. At center, they got Miles Turner. They got this two-way center that's a rim protector and a 40% three-point shooter who's 27 years old, who fits perfectly in the system, fits perfectly with your team. He's probably your third most important player behind, for the Pacers, he's behind Haliburton and Siakam, and then Miles Turner. For the Warriors, in this scenario, let's say he's the third most important player. Let's say the Warriors are in the finals. They make it to the finals. Their first year. They got this young team that they're proud of, that they're excited about, that they've been building up. Miles Turner is homegrown. They drafted Miles Turner. He's been with the team for like 8 seasons. He's blossoming. He's a 40% three-point shooter now. He's one of the premier two-way stretch fives in the league. He's a player that every team is trying to acquire. The Warriors have him now. He's their player. Whether the Pacers lose the finals or not, why would they let Miles Turner walk? Ask yourself that. If the scenario was flipped around and he was on the Warriors, let's say the Warriors get to the finals, whether they win or not, let's say that offseason comes up, why would they let another team come in and swoop Miles Turner? It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. If the Pacers let Miles Turner walk, they would then have to immediately find a player that's Miles Turner. They would have to find a stretch five, a two-way stretch five, to put next to Siakam. Because Siakam's a slash and scoring power forward. They need a center that can stretch the floor, that can also protect the rim. There's not too many of those players in the league. So they're going to let Miles Turner walk just to try to sign another Miles Turner? It doesn't make any sense. Miles Turner's not going nowhere. I know he's an unrestricted free agent, but the Pacers can just, whatever a team tries to offer Miles Turner, the Pacers will just match it. On top of that, Miles Turner probably doesn't want to leave. He has an established role with the Pacers. This is a team he's been playing for the past 8 seasons. He probably has a house over there in Indiana. He's beloved. He's been drafted there. As long as they pay him and give him a pay raise that he wants, he has no reason to leave. And on top of that, here's the kicker. The Warriors can't afford him. The Warriors can't outbid anybody for him. Miles Turner's going to get $30 million a year next season in the offseason. The Warriors can't offer that. So not only would it be asinine for the Pacers to let him walk for nothing, the Warriors wouldn't even be able to bid for him in the first place. The most the Warriors can offer might possibly be like what? The MLE or the taxpaying MLE, which is like $6 million. The Pacers can pay him $30 million, what he wants. Zero chance. It's not happening. So for all y'all listening to this, the idea of Miles Turner sounds amazing on paper. It's not happening. It's not happening. It is what it is. But yeah. Yeah, the Warriors roster construction is a little tough, man. It's a little tough, bro. The Warriors are definitely shackled in terms of finances. Highly tired of the Miles Turner talk. Man, it's like, bro, I gotta kind of break this Miles Turner situation down every stream. I see people asking like, "Oh, what about Miles Turner? What about Miles Turner?" I just had to like paint a picture, bro. It's not happening, man. And the Warriors fans would be if the scenario was in the Warriors where they had Miles Turner, in the same scenario the Pacers are in, they'd be like, bro, there's no chance for letting Miles Turner walk. There's no chance. But we're all fans. I get it. We don't necessarily look at things from the other team's perspective. We kind of just look at it from our perspective. I get it. But sometimes we got to like step away from the situation and look at that trade proposal or trade scenario or free agent pickup from both ends, the other team, the player, and the Warriors, before we ask, we should trade for this guy or pick up this guy. How would y'all feel about what's that kid's name? Oh my God, his name is escaping me right now. It's crazy. The guy on the Blazers. The Wizards just traded him to the Blazers. The 6'10" European guy. I forgot I don't know why I can't remember his name right now, dude. It's crazy. What's his name, man? What is his name? The Wizards just traded him to the Blazers. He got drafted like maybe like 3 or 4 seasons ago. He was in a Wiseman draft. Was he in a Wiseman draft or was he in the? No, he was in the 2021 draft with Kuminga and Moody, I think, right? Dude, what's his name? Abdia. Denny Abdia. Thank you, Highway J. I appreciate you, bro. Denny Abdia. Yeah. Denny Abdia would be like a solid. I don't know if he's available, but I would like Abdia. Yeah, Abdia would be solid, man. He's only making $13 million. I don't know what that trade would look like though. Portland not giving up Denny. Yeah, you're probably right, bro. You're probably right. You're probably right, man. Denny is basically going to do what Trey and Jimmy do. He's a completely different player than those two. Is there any other names that I haven't already covered that y'all want me to touch on real quick? There was like 8 guys drafted after Wiseman that would have been a better fit. Yeah. Jeremy Grant would be a good pickup. Yeah, I'm not a Jeremy Grant guy. To be honest with you, not really a Jeremy Grant guy. Like at that point, I'd probably rather just keep Kuminga. To be honest with you, I know Jeremy Grant's a better shooter. I think Jeremy Grant shot like 40% the past few seasons, but I'm not really a Jeremy Grant guy. He's also an atrocious rebounder. The dude averages he's like 6'8", 6'9". He averages like 4 rebounds a game. It's absolutely pitiful. Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey's about to be a restricted free agent. He's about to get a bag. The Warriors have no real avenue to get him. Unless the Bulls sign and trade him to the Warriors. But, I mean, Josh Giddey can't shoot and he needs a ball in his hand. So you're going to put Josh Giddey next to Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green? Think about that. Josh Giddey is a player that needs a ball in his hands to make plays for others, and he can't shoot. So you're now going to put him on a team with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Both players who needs the ball in their hands. It's not happening, bro. Thibault is solid. Thibault is basically he's like a younger GP2, basically. He can't really shoot either. I'm not giving a first-round pick for him, though. If the Blazers are asking for a first-round pick, I'm not doing that. He been shooting better ever since the injury. Who you talking about? Who's been shooting better? Al Horford could be a good mentor for Post and still has another year in him. I would take Al Horford in a heartbeat, man. I would take Al Horford in a heartbeat. Al Horford, man, he's old. You know, he's a geezer. But he's still an upgrade at center. He's better than Looney. He's better than TJD. He's better than Post. He's just straight up an upgrade. So he can still hit a shot. He's still a good three-point shooter. Teams can't leave him. He can still defensively. He can still move his feet, even though he's old. It was Dude, I saw him guarding. He was guarding Brunson on switches, and old man Horford was like moving his feet, bro. Like he moves his feet better than a lot of centers at his age. He's still pretty agile in terms of mobility. It's kind of crazy. If you put him in a defensive ecosystem, it's similar to Brook Lopez. If you put Al Horford in an ecosystem defensively next to Draymond, who's behind him back line, you got Jimmy Butler, who's like a shark swarming defensively in the passing lanes. Al Horford just be rock solid. Just be rock solid. Draymond's the depoy. He's backline the defense. Al Horford can be more than just solid, bro. He'll be, and then he has the IQ in the passing from the front court to run the Warriors system perfectly as a cog, moving the ball, getting Steph, dribble handoffs with Steph. He will be solid, bro. I would definitely much rather see Al Horford out there than Kevon Looney. Because Kevon Looney, he can't do anything offensively. At least Al Horford, he's old, but you can't leave that old man open. Teams, you can't just leave him. You can't just I'm just going to let him shoot. We'll live with it. It's like, okay, Al Horford is going to knock that down, bro. He's been doing it for multiple seasons in a row. Like he can still shoot. Nicholas Batum ain't leaving he's not leaving the Clippers. I think him and his family loves it there. They went back to the Clippers after they got traded. He went right back to the Clippers a few seasons ago. He's not leaving the Clippers. PJ Washington. Might be sneaky good pickup right there. I don't really know what his trade value looks like. Tobias Harris from the Pistons. The Pistons aren't trading Tobias Harris. They just made the playoffs for the first time in forever. Tobias Harris was a key vet for their team. They're not trading Tobias Harris. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it right there. I appreciate y'all for showing up. I know it was a last-minute announcement. My bad. But again, I appreciate y'all for coming through. As more information comes out, I'll be making more. I'll do more live streams. And I'll try to do more often. So I'll catch you on the next one. Again, thank y'all for coming through.